G'day and welcome to another AlwaysMoto product inspection. This time we're doing prepped hydration drinks. As always, I'm David Hogan, the Australian physiotherapist responsible for the best moto injury related content and product inspections that you haven't yet seen on your social media feed. To follow and stay up to date with everything that we do here, just search AlwaysMoto in your favorite social media app and then hit the follow button. It's that simple. So prepped hydration drinks is the product we are inspecting in this video. Now you might ask yourself, why does AlwaysMoto need to do an inspection on a hydration drink? What has it got to do with moto? Well, if you've ever ridden a motorcycle and wore your gear on a hot day or even just any day and the motorcycle is generating its own heat, you are going to sweat while you do that activity. Now there's a saying in the world, if you don't hydrate, you die, which is put as simply as it can be, because without water, our bodies can't sustain life. And that's where these drinks are then going to try and help improve your ability to stay hydrated whilst doing your activity, which in turn just improves your enjoyment and your post-ride fatigue and ability to then do the next task that you want to do on the next day and the day after that, because you've been able to stay hydrated at a much better level throughout your activity on the moto. So who is Prepped Hydration? They're an Australian-based company with an aim to improve athletic performance and aid faster recoveries by staying hydrated or improving hydration. So if we're talking hydration, what normally happens for the human body when you put it under load and you start to sweat? You have the ability to lose up to a litre of sweat per hour of physical activity. In extreme circumstances, that can move up to 3 litres per hour. Now, in normal circumstances, if you're losing a litre per hour, how much is the recommended intake per hour? Well, depending on what source you read and which product you read this from, it's somewhere between 300 mils and 750 mils of fluid per hour, which is a significant amount less than what you're actually losing. Now, here's the kicker. If you're taking in 300 to 750 mils of fluid per hour whilst you're exercising, how much of that fluid is your body actually able to use or absorb? Well, it's actually somewhere between 50 and 80% of that amount that you've intaked. You can't actually absorb the whole 100%. So if you're only able to absorb 50 to 80% of the water that you're intaking, what's happening to the rest, and how is that digestive process and absorption process happening? Well, your body is absorbing the water as it's working its way through your digestive system. There's basically 3 sections where it will occur. Stage 1 will sort of happen in your stomach, stage 2 will be in your small intestine, and stage 3 is your large intestine. Now, in most cases, you will only be absorbing water in stage 1 and stage 2, so stomach and small intestines. By the time it gets to your large intestine, the body has stopped absorbing it and it begins to use it to basically just help assist form the rest of the products that are then going to be pushed out as excrement, out number 2s. So this is then where the prepped products start to come in. The idea of the prep product is to extend the period of time that your body's able to absorb the water and thus then use more up of that 300 to 750 mils of water that you're able to intake per hour, to increase that range from 50 to 80% up to sort of 80, up towards that 100%. You'll probably never actually absorb 100% of the water, but you're going to get a lot closer with the assistance of this prepped product. So how does the prepped products actually increase the time that you're digesting or absorbing the water? Well, it utilizes a resistant starch, which basically opens up the pathway in your large intestine to continue to absorb that water. By using this resistant starch, the prepped product then actually lets you absorb up to 5 litres more per day than you would be able to if you weren't using this product. So that's the science side of things behind the prep product and extending that time period that are able to absorb the water in your body to assist you to have a better hydration level. But how did we go using it as we inspected it across the time that we've been using it and the different sort of settings that we've done from exercise to riding? How did it go? Put simply, I noticed that it worked. When you do exercise and you use this product, your weight that you weigh yourself at the beginning and at the end for sweat loss was a lot closer than when I did it when I wasn't actually using the product. So I tested this in a couple of settings. I did my normal gym sessions that I would do in the mornings, which are about an hour to an hour and a half in length, depending on the morning and depending on whether I'm running late for work. I did those sessions for a couple of weeks, weighing myself in, and on average, I lost between 1 and 1.5 kilos each morning, which fits exactly into that normal process. So I'm average Joe here. You'd lose about a kilogram or a liter of water in sweat per hour. And of course, it wouldn't be Always Moto without a moto test. So I did this in a couple of settings there as well. I did some short burst motocross rides where we did some repeat motos over 10-minute motos. It was very short, intense sessions, and it worked out to be about an hour and a half that we were out doing these. We also then did a long trail ride, which was about 4 hours in length. On both of the moto rides, we got well up over that 2 to 3 kilos. On the longer ride, it was more towards 3.5 kilos that I'd lost in that time in sweat over those durations. So that was without. We lost somewhere in those gym sessions 1 to 1.5 kilos. During the motos, we lost up to 3.5 kilos without using prepped hydration products. Now, the gym sessions were really easy to repeat for intensity and duration. We were able to basically mimic exactly that test again, or that session again, when we used the prep product. When we used the prep product in the gym, the weight loss was less than 100 grams, which was ridiculous. Exactly the same session, just having this drink of prepped created a loss that was almost minimal, which was fantastic. On the moto rides, they're a little bit harder to replicate. Obviously, track conditions make for a different intensity, whether it's wet, whether it's dry, you're going harder into a corner or you're being a bit more cautious because it's slippery. And the trail rides, obviously, you're going on different trails sometimes. We tried to replicate the same course, but again, you might have a different issue. Somebody needs a break earlier. It's not exactly perfect science here, but the concept is there. We did a period of time. We've got the same. I use a polar heart rate strap and monitor, so I've got the same cardiac load through those sessions. And we reduced this down to only 0.5 kilo that I'd lost so basically 500 mils of water that we lost through sweat over that same period of time versus 3.5 kilos. So there's a 3-liter difference in how much water I was losing over that period of time. So there you have it, guys. Another Always Moto inspection. We've run through those stats on how much fluid we were able to maintain because of this prepped product when we used it correctly as per their instructions on the bottle here. Now, we're going to split this video in two. This is the science and what happened when we tested it just from the pure fact of, did it work? We're going to split it. The second video is going to be around how to use it, what we found when we used it in terms of did it taste good, all those sorts of things. So stick around, check out the link. There'll be another one here in the YouTube channel for this second half of this video on prepped hydration products.